Hey guys, I just wanted to hop on and do a vlog today. I haven't done one in a little while. Um, I guess I wanted to just hop on and kind of talk about some things that have kind of been on my heart. I know last week that I shared a lot about, what it's like to kind of work in the addiction treatment field and things like that. But, you know, I can't help but, look at what's going on in the world and look at what's going on in the world of the addiction treatment industry and see, an underlying connection that I see a lot, which is just people's inability to take responsibility and just blame, 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 blame. And I'm not talking about like, holding each other accountable. That's not what I'm talking about, but that we are so busy blaming each other that like there's no room for growth. There's no room for discussion. It is everybody needs to be responsible for my feelings or my opinions. And that's just not how it works, And I just see so many lines being drawn in the sand of just like, if you don't believe this, then you're this. Well, since it's this way, then your perception of this is not that way. Or, since your perception is this way, well, it's just like, you guys, like everything has become so complicated, and everybody is pushing their own agenda so much that it's like, I see people that are out there that say that they're fighting for something, but it's like, you're just fighting. You're just fighting in general, arguing, disagreeing. And it really feels like it's just not promoting change. Like it feels like it is promoting anger, resentment, judgment. And it just doesn't feel productive. It doesn't feel productive, and it doesn't feel like there are good intentions involved. And I'm not saying you got to have good intentions involved if you're feeling hot and heavy about something and something needs to change. But like, I don't know, my opinion is that if we want real change, like it might be useful to like inspire others and to, inspire change in them instead of like forcing it down their throat, shamefully forcing it down their throat. What about like inspiring them and, trying to share a point of view rather than demand that this point of view be seen, or you're foolish, or you're stupid, or you're ignorant, or, it's mind-blowing. It's like, where did we lose the ability to like communicate respectfully? Like, where did the name calling start? Where did, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to call you a name because that's my opinion of you. And I'm going to tell you that because I'm going to throw a glorified temper tantrum because you're not doing what I want and you're not agreeing with me. So you're now an idiot, or you're now a coward, or you're now not hip on what's going on in the world, or you're oblivious. And it's just like, some of the stuff that I hear, I'm just like mind blown. I'm like, is this real? Is this real? And it's just like everybody's on high alert and everybody's angry and upset and defensive and feels like it's their place to like go out and tell everybody how they should and shouldn't live their life. And it's just like, nobody asked. I didn't ask you. And I'm sure there's other people that aren't asking. And I just think that it gets a little bit frustrating because it's like, how do we promote change if we're constantly talking about the solution and how the change that's happening doesn't match up to what you as a person believe is what change should be considered as, or whatever it is. It's like, there's no room for any like personal spin on that. There's no room for any person to have an experience with that because it's your agenda and it's about you. And it's not actually about the person that you're wanting to change. It becomes about you and what you think needs to change and how you think it should change based on whatever information you have that supports what you believe. You know, I have many friends that don't agree or don't have the same beliefs that I have, but guess what? We're talking about it. We're communicating about it. And we agree to disagree. And that's okay because we love each other and we know each other's heart. And we know that like we're going to come from different places, because we're different people. I mean, that's like the biggest thing, is that no one of us are exactly the same. So we're not going to agree exactly like the other one. But like, I just see that like with change, you know, we want all this change, but we're not willing to walk people down that path. We're willing to force them down the path that we think they should be on. Sorry, Landon's losing his mind in there. And it doesn't add up for me. I have a really hard time with it, that it's like, you know, if you want somebody to hear you, I don't know, maybe talk to them, maybe, you know, ask them, hey, I'd really like you to hear this point of view. But like what I see a lot of is, I don't know if people really want you to hear them. I think they want to take it out on you because they're angry and they're upset, and that you then become a target for their anger and their frustration. And I think that that's just human nature, you know, and most people can't really even see that because, you know, they're busy pushing their agenda and what's right and what's wrong, and really aren't able to say, oh, wait, you know what, are my motives pure here? Probably not. And this is a target right now because it's easy, it's accessible. They said a trigger word that triggers my anger and resentment, and I don't like them anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and tell them what's up. It's so unproductive. It's just unproductive. And I see this on a worldwide level, is that, you know, people's friendships are ending over it. People that don't like each other are just getting angrier at each other. And it's like, I don't know. I have a really hard time with it because it's not just in the world around us. I see it in my workplace. I see it in a lot of different areas, that I feel like a lot of us have become accustomed to throwing glorified temper tantrums when we don't agree with something, and that we instantly start shredding apart a person's character. And I'm not saying I've never done this before, so let's not get this twisted. Like, the only reason I'm able to see it this way is because I've done all of this stuff. And so, you know, but like, I guess I get really frustrated and sad when I just feel like it could be handled so much different, you know, but it's not up to me. I can only choose to handle it how I want to handle it. But like, I don't know. I think about this and I'm like, is it worth being this angry and upset, especially if we're not being productive? Like, I get being passionate about stuff, and sometimes that comes with super heavy emotions. And, you know, if I'm fighting for something, you know, I'm going to have a lot of feelings. I'm not saying that my behavior throughout that is the best, but like, you know, I frequently see that people are just spewing hate just to spew hate, you know, because I don't really see what they're fighting for. I don't see what they're fighting for because they've lost me in this, like, you know, whole sticking up for what they think is right. The moment that they start calling people names, the moment that they start twisting it into something that it doesn't need to be, it just, like, at that point, it's like turned off, you know. And I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that feels like together we could make more of a difference. But, you know, I hear we need to do this together, but then the very people that are saying we need to do this together are the very people that are tearing us apart if somebody has a different opinion. And I'm not saying that I don't agree some people are way off. I'm not disagreeing that, you know, some people say things they shouldn't say. I might even be one of those included, but, you know, I just think there's a way to go about it. And I think the way that we're going about it is just not going to promote change. It's going to promote more distance, more separation. And people are continuing to blame each other. People don't want to take responsibility. People want to blast everybody else's problems. Online. And it just doesn't seem loving and tolerant. You know, like I get, you know, if people have done things they shouldn't have done. But it's like, I don't even know if people know the difference anymore between who's on the good or the bad side. You know, like I feel like, you know, we're losing touch with even that because we're like even fighting the guys that are fighting for us. You know, we're fighting in fights that we don't even need to be fighting in because, you know, like I don't know, I'm having a hard time with it because, you know, naturally I'm concerned for what next. I'm concerned for, um, you know, how many other people feel um, totally turned off by this because um, they can't say anything right because that will be picked apart. Um, and I don't know, I wonder to myself, what is it going to take for us to be able to like agree to disagree about stuff that like doesn't really matter. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter, even though that's what I just said, but like to other people, they may be like, well, that is what matters and that's what makes you ignorant. And it's like, whatever. Um, what I'm trying to say is that like we're not all gonna agree on everything. We're not gonna agree on every single detail, but like, can we start with like one thing we agree upon? Because it's just unrealistic to try to fit somebody in a box that they're going to fit there immediately and that they don't have the room to grow. They don't have the room to make mistakes. They don't have the room to be themselves, and that you must conform to this exactly how it is. Otherwise, you're ignorant. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. It just doesn't make any logical sense. Like, it just doesn't. It's just not even how it works. So, anyways, that's kind of been where I've been at, is that, you know, I keep praying that there's going to come a point that we don't continue to allow our own resentments and our own anger and our own frustration to be hidden behind this cause that we're fighting for, when really it's just about us. It's about us and our resentments. And for some of us, we're getting behind something because it allows us to go attack. It allows us to not take responsibility. It allows us to not blame. And it really does taint a message that is a powerful message that needs to be heard. And I just, you know, I hear it, and I think I try to continue to think of the real message that's under it, and that it's other humans that are really kind of tainting the message of hope and change that needs to happen. And I just pray that that will lift soon, so that, you know, we can continue fighting for, you know, what needs to change, instead of getting distracted by other people's stuff that really isn't even about the movement. So that's all for now.